Hey, it's your old cousin Jack, back with another episode of Woodcarving Weekly. Today, what we'll do is have a project showcase I'll tell you about, as well as some more discussion about some woodcarving tools and information on some handmade knives that you may have some interest in. We'll also zip around the internet, look at some of the woodcarving blogs and newsletters, resources available, and of course, spin around YouTube to see what's new and what's happening in the woodcarving and whittling community. Well, all right, let's start off with the National Wood Carvers Association. This organization has been around for 70 years. That's amazing when you think about it. So back in 1953, this organization started promoting woodcarving here in the United States anyway. And nowadays, they publish a magazine called Chip Chats. You've perhaps seen that. Maybe you're a member of the association. There's also a website that's available. And even if you're not subscribed to the magazine, there are resources available to you on that website that are definitely worth a look. So for example, one of the things that they have is a calendar of events. And it's amazing how many different woodcarving events are listed on that website. There may be an event coming your area soon. Also, and this is something I hear people ask, they're not sure whether or not there's a woodcarving club in their area. Well, if you're in Canada or the US, you can check out the listing, the directory that's on this website for the National Wood Carvers Association. They have a listing by state, or I guess province in Canada, that tells you all these different woodcarving clubs. A really cool resource. And there's much, much more. Now, if you want to be a member, it's $20 a year. Very affordable. And when you join, you'll also receive a regular publication that comes to you in the mail, the Chip Chats magazine. So check them out. They're on Facebook as well. There's a Facebook group for Chip Chats. They're on Instagram. And like I said, check out the website. It's well worthwhile. This next resource comes to us from Bob K. Bob has been carving for 60 years, and he has a wealth of information. He's done many, many carvings. He's had many published in Woodcarving Illustrated, and he has sort of a blog newsletter that's available to you, a great resource. It's called Wood Chip Chatter. All you have to do is go to the website, and as I'm talking about these resources, folks, I'm going to give you links to all of these resources in the description right below this video. Anyway, you go to Bob K's newsletter/blog, Wood Chip Chatter, put in your email address, and you'll receive an update every time he's publishing a new article. It's something that's, like I said, a great resource. He has all different types of information on there. He's very often looking for people who want to contribute an article or submit photographs or questions. And if you're a beginner just starting out, or maybe even an experienced carver and you're looking for some advice, you can submit a photograph of your carving to Bob, and he'll give you some constructive criticism. Valuable stuff. Well worth taking a look. So check out Bob K's Wood Chip Chatter, and I'll have a link in the description for you. Another blog you may want to be taking a look at is WoodBeeCarver. And this is a site that's maintained by Donald Mertz, who, again, a very experienced carver who's been around for a very long time and has tons of information on the WoodBeeCarver site. Now, if you just went looking for it, you might not find it because the spelling is a little different. I'll have a link for you. On his site, again, many, many resources available, and he publishes articles on a regular basis, including a new article that was recently published. It's a tutorial on how to carve a sea captain who's holding a sextant and a map. So absolutely you want to check that out. Now, Donald Mertz uses knives almost exclusively when he's carving. And he has what he calls the old carver's knife law. And here it is, a quote from Donald Mertz. "One knife is dandy, 2 knives are handy, and 3 knives are never enough. Isn't that the truth? All right, let's move on. Now we'll talk about tools. I want to let you know about a knife maker, wood carver, all-around good guy, Alan Goodman. He has the word good in his name. Alan has been carving for years, and he's developed many friendships along the way, including a close relationship with Tom Wolfe, who of course published many carving books. Anyway, Alan has some knives, of course, that he makes. He makes a variety of different blade profiles, different blade lengths, handle designs, really nice looking knives. And if you're interested in a handmade knife, there are different ways that you can contact him. He has an Instagram profile, he's on Facebook, and he says probably the best way to reach him is through email. So I will list those links and the email address to use in the description below this video, so you'll know how to get in touch with him and find out what he has available and how to get a hold of one. So another blog that's available for you is coming to us from Italy. Sara, a friend of mine, started a blog several years ago called Whittled, Lovelies. In her blog, she publishes a number of different articles and information for you. And her most recent article is kind of an interesting one about taking a vacation, and then during this vacation, making some visits to different wood carving schools and places where you can learn. So she talks about a trip to Austria where she was able to visit the Giesler Marauder wood carving school. And they've done wood carving in Austria for so many generations. There's a lot of great information. There's some really cool looking pictures too of some of these European carvings. And she talks about what is called Tyrolean carving. And Tyrolean is kind of Austrian, more or less. And in that style of carving, knives are not really the primary tool. Most of the Tyrolean carving is done with gouges. So it's very interesting. The article also mentions a trip to the Stubai Valley in Austria, where the Stubai tools are made, a factory over there. So yeah, take a look at Whittled Lovelies, check out the latest article, and make sure you subscribe to it. All right, it's time for our project showcase. This week, it's brought to us by Doug Linker. So Doug just published a brand new video, and it's part of his 1" by 1" series that he's doing. And it's a little bear, but there's 2 different carvings in one video. So he's going to show you 2 different styles of bears that you can carve. One of them is a bear sort of coming up out of a stump, a wood stump, tree stump. And the other one is a full-body bear, which you're probably familiar with his larger version. So now he's going to show how to make this smaller 1 by 1" version of the bear. So sounds like a lot of fun. It's a project that I'm sure many people will enjoy. So when you have a minute, check out Doug Linker's website for that latest video. So I want to share with you something about YouTube that some people just don't know about yet. On YouTube, when you visit a channel, across the top, there's a menu where you can click on a tab called Community. The Community tab often has various posts that come from that particular YouTube content creator. They might be posting videos, they might be posting pictures of carvings, and they might even be posting patterns. Well, I want to show you the International Association of Wood Carvers site for just a second here. So many of you are already familiar with this site. There are many YouTube videos just about every week. Blake Lunsford and David, they have been working hard. It started during COVID, and they've been at it for several years now, publishing new videos almost weekly. All kinds of different resources for you, just the videos alone. But there's more to this site that you might not be aware of. if you click on the Community tab, you're going to find some free patterns. And who doesn't want free patterns, right? So take a look when you have a chance and click on that Community tab. While you're at it, you might want to visit some other websites on YouTube, channels that you might be visiting regularly, and click on their community tabs. Okay, well, let's talk about gnomes. There's a couple of new videos out there right now about a simple gnome and a little baby gnome. So BeaverCraft Tools, they have a new tutorial on carving a simple gnome. So they take you through the entire video, and there's a pattern on how to carve this simple gnome. It's a sort of a standing caricature figure. You can check that one out. And of course, we have a baby gnome from South Korea. Ddalo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, has a new tutorial as well on carving a child gnome. It's a little guy kind of curled up with a hat on. So a couple of different gnome projects that you might want to check out. They're both tutorials, of course, on YouTube. And lastly for today, Carving is Fun YouTube channel. And it's a Florida carver who says, look, it's just too hot to be carving in the garage right now. He got an idea. He said, well, I'm going to carve inside, and decided to go ahead and build sort of this mobile carving station. He put together a video that shows how he went about making this, and it gives you the materials and sort of the measurements and such. So if you have an interest in building your own mobile carving station, yeah, this will show you how to do it. Well, folks, thank you for coming by. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like button, please. And if you subscribe to the channel, all the better. Thank you so much. See you next time.